Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Alright, so we've got stuff we want to clean up, and there were map changes. I was trying to reprocess the data to get that. The problem is it was a name that changed. So I might have to loop back to that, since I don't actually have a arc where that applies yet. Meanwhile, I would have expected this to show me something here, so we've actually got a bug to deal with first. I'm just curious what happens if we... Okay, so we can do that. So we know there's an arc, but there's no... Remember, we're setting ourselves to the front of it? No. So why don't we have time for you? So we cover all that new stuff. We've got key place defines the arcs. '93. I'd have to convert these times to see if that makes any sense. Yep. Oh, right, these are still in seconds. Yeah, so that's the 10 to 12. We've got this. So why aren't you loading data for it? Maybe we don't create a world for the last one? A sort of edge boundary problem? Yeah, rebuild worlds. I forget what all these were. So I need to know. This is like 748, 40. 7 of 8, 48 of 49, 39 of 41. Well, 40 is before 41, so that's the length. So that is the last one there. 1386. Did we end up selecting actual data to put in there? Oh. The arcs all end up with good times for their no, it is, if we have an arc, then we're using the arc end to get that stuff, which isn't necessarily going to be right for that world, but the other thing we have to ask is, does this mean we have an age and a version and an arc? Okay, yes, 40, we have data there. That seems to be the last thing we process. Did we have objects when we did it? Yes, we did. Okay, biome layer, biomes, generation. Grid placements, key placement layer, map log layer. Well, we'll be showing key placement first. That's alternate. So this group doesn't have a whole lot. One of these is maybe just an attribution layer. URL. It's got a data time that's appropriate. So we're not selecting it for visibility then? Do I even need a biome total weight on here? That seems maybe a bit off. Oh no, that's a thing of the special biome stuff, I think. Base layers by time. Alright, so rebuild world. We seem to be getting reasonable data. Okay, we did object load, we did arc list, both at the same timestamp. But we processed it at 90, well, different thing, 15707. So that should be less than this, and more than that. But there were no adds and removes. We didn't pick anything. Okay, so I sometimes do that, so we get a nice little timeline out of it. Ah. Last one is undefined, which is why the last world isn't being selected. So I put that in there and never really properly tested it. Okay. So now if we come into this completely blank, we should get the last moment of that. Okay. And that might mean that we can do uncertainty? Well, no, I think it's more that I'm always going to generate a range when I shouldn't generate a range. Because if we go back to like here, that's the 0. Okay. I forget exactly where it was. There should have been a period before we got into arcs where we didn't really have seeds. I think I'm only looking at the start of things now. Oh well. So that was... Oh, a server is already... Okay, so my desktop restarted at some point, killing my server. The one we've got is probably fine, but I just need to remember to reboot later. Or rather, it disconnected the console that was running it from the server, so I now have no way to kill it except for searching through the 500 processes in Windows now. I think I don't need to do too much with that at the moment. And I don't know that I got one for source control yet. Because that was only effective change. Maybe the final state's useful, but... No, I'm saying or it equals undefined. I guess we don't know if that the last world actually does continue going, but... Well... It really depends on what the last thing that changed was. Because at some point that arc does end. Specifically out here it ends. No, actually, yeah, the arc has a end date, but we didn't fill in the end date. Because yeah, I filled in end dates. Based on the next start date. And the era is always the start of the next period. So this kind of gets back to the uncertainty problem. So if it's a version change or a code change, the world probably continues a bit. But if an arc ended, then we don't know what happened next. So this is really a data definition problem. The data is not saying that it ended. So one way to tackle this is, since we go through and reset the ends here, where do we set our world's MS start? It might just be assigning MS start next time. MSN is by default that, because that's a definite end. Okay, so that's there. If we select this, we go to the 10 instead of the 12, but it's an appropriate cutoff. If we go to here, okay, we end up in the arc. Well, seed is arc and seed. Yeah, so it's kind of come down to, if we're in arc or in a random age, that seed becomes really important. Anyway, that was not Right. Off-screen moving objects was one of the things that will actually kind of deeply affect, well, I guess unknown's kind of a thing too, but deeply affect the historical stuff. Graves, murder weapon. Shift click. Or maybe it's actually going to say moving. Thermal model, heat overhaul. Force drop. Emotes. Goose stump. Never decay. Man, there's more than I was hoping. Animals does. Okay, yep. Moving randomly or fleeing. Fixed cardinal direction. Rattlesnakes stay in the desert, penguins stay in the snow. Borderland snake who spawns off the edge. Oh, no, this is okay. This is only their movements. Much okay. So it's after this then. So we've got a bound on bit, but it moving does not. Spawning biome if moving randomly or fleeing. So we think it's above this. Heat, heat, heat. I'd swear it was older than that. No longer spawn outside the target biomes. Yep, okay, so it wasn't that much older. So this would have gone live with 2.12. This is probably showing Central Time, so I could use that. All right, so this is sort of its own little boundary. So what? Ages. Am I still using ages? Yeah. So that's 331. That's 329. That's 18. Alright, so when we're looking at like jungle age, we've got desert biome map. It's not a strict boundary, but it is going to be a code change. It is going to be a generation flag. Objects would give me a valid timestamp because that would have to be, I have to identify that as local time. And 212 is when we should have here. But it was not otherwise a spawn change. I could probably get these a little more precise too. A little bit. Did I manually back these out? So these are all start. 329. It probably got versioned around where it went live. Well, this doesn't give me the... Nice little timestamp for that. All right, so if that's 1648, maybe if I put that much into local date pars, it will suggest what that time zone offset should be. Okay, I need to get that formatted. Run it into a date again. And then that's just plain formatted differently. But that's saying GMT -5. So that's 21. Oh, and I'd copied. Yeah, I'd copied that already. So that's the end. So actually, you're going to go to now. Oh. So what is our default, actually? I guess the default should be current. So it's actually going to split desert age. And then this goes to start of jungle. All right, object generation options? Yeah. So the default would be current. Then when we go to ages, and then we're off biome moving object. Eliminate off biome moving objects. I don't think we'd have anything else that's strictly for this. And this has options. Oh, I guess before we do this, we need to find an example. I don't think Big Server 2 goes back far enough. So this would particularly be a problem like around mountains. I guess it actually happened in early desert because you had all the snakes. That's 2903. All right, so here's some mountains and some desert. Oh, what we currently eliminate the objects. So we actually need to find something where it appears. Well, there's a seal. Of course, the problem was before they could like roam around afterwards, like encounter them. Once they were here, they could start moving anywhere within this area. So you never knew when a wolf could jump out at you. So we saw one seal. Another seal. We could look at more Arctic stuff. That seems to be almost a more common case. There's the boars. They don't seem to be super common, though. All right, how about we just remove this code, make sure we can find an example. So there's another seal, but we've seen the seals. And I mean, that's technically it, but it was always like the wolves and snakes that were problems. Okay, there's a wolf. There's a couple of wolves. Okay, so 2019-02. This is going to be a very spammy location. Did I get this backwards? (2019-03), 2019-02. Okay, I implemented the flag backwards. Yeah. So it says there are, not block. Well, it should be in our defaults, so it should be false. I guess not equal to true. And then we reset to our other server. Was that Jungle Age? Yeah, okay, that was Jungle Age. Okay, so this was actually right before the jungle. What time in 329? Oh, no, wait, 2018. I misread that. No, it was screenshot age. That's why okay. 2019. It was jungle. And then screenshot to okay, so you go jungle age to there to screenshot. Oh, actually, this did still have that flag. Of course, now I need to find a new example, because our actual boundary oh, this is, yes, this is, so this could actually affect mosquitoes now, too. Alright, so there's some mosquitoes. What? Oh, really? Maybe he also changed the frequency there? I mean, that is like exactly where that changes. Oh, no. Yeah, 16 in local time zone. I don't have a real map reference for if that's accurate. Oh, the biome picked for spawning? No? So now it's a jungle object. I mean, maybe he made content changes at the same time? The object list, which doesn't have names in it in this version. Well, we know it's about 212. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So there were other changes to the jungle about here. And that Z, so it's going to be about the same time. So maybe... I mean, realistically, those all went live at the same time. It just... I'd have to be looking at, like, server population data to pin those down. But we definitely see, well, because there were spawn changes, it's not guaranteed that that's what changed it. Because, I mean, maybe those mosquitoes turned into a tomato plant because we got tomato plants. So I need to find something that's not a mosquito, basically. Because jungle had a bunch of changes. And I'd prefer it to be deadly because that was the point of interest. We saw an odd seal, which I guess I haven't actually looked at if they change. Okay, there's a snake. And the snake is gone. Cool. I guess I could actually just do a code thing that says, as we touch up ages, we flip that flag. Well, no, because it actually does end up splitting it in terms of generation parameters. All right, now our problem is, so I mean, this is pretty fine. This is pretty fine. That's okay. That's kind of okay. A little hitchy, but kind of okay. There really shouldn't be a rift here. $25 is getting a little bit bad. Yeah. And then 24 is where it gets really obnoxious. So what I might want to do is actually, instead of just an on-off, do kind of a thing here that's natural object cutoff level. And I don't really see any point in doing it beyond there. I guess there's the zoom level changes, but yeah, it's sort of okay down here. So probably like 24, 25, we would not do it. That's going to have to get mirrored down and cause all the updates. So I guess I actually want to start with the front end so we can trigger those changes. Well, if I have the option there, I can have it disabled. See, that works. Then we need to deal with changing it. So that's probably going to be, let's see, what do we... So set view, we have map time. We have data animated. Map time, data animated. Wait, fade tall objects is an individual layer thing. Set fade tall objects. We just go through every layer and set the option. And that is just a Boolean status. Probably fair enough. Except maybe... these are all going to be object layer things. we do like... And then you are just... Well, you are... And maybe I don't need the function then. Although I guess it was a useful abstraction for... no, there's only one call to it, really. Except you are message.status. Oh, yeah, fade tell objects is. So that's an abstraction. Oop, wrong way. And you're not actually going to see a whole lot of hidden stuff in natural state. But we can see that our option still works. So that gives us a way to do that. So fade tell objects is a thing that's on sprite layer in general. So this is not draw any sprite layer. There might actually be some implementation differences here. Key placement and such would just not incorporate that. And I guess I only really need to worry about that when they're generating stuff. If it was on screen, maybe we can keep what's there. And then the object, straight up object layer, which should all be kinds of sprite layers. Object layer sprite. Although I guess all sprite layers, for the most part, are going to support this. No. They're going to implement it somewhat separately. So you would actually just kind of abort on create tile. Well, I mean return tile and done. And hope it's not a blocking object. Oh no, it's conditional. This is going to be something like object generation zoom. Oh yeah, what are we gonna even for like label? What do we call this? Oh, well, if they weren't showing, you don't want to turn it on if it was there. Okay. Show natural objects below zoom. And we're probably going to want to name the zoom we actually want to, well, it says below, but or above because it's technically a higher number. So for natural objects only, this might be we've got chords. Except that you are options. Well, I need to return this and I need to, we took a done. And it's just call it. I hope that's not an order of operations problem. I mean, I could set timeout if I needed to. It's 27. So that didn't do squid. Also, I think I was going to change this to a dummy element. Object layer sprite. '26. Oh, maybe I didn't get out far enough. Okay, yeah, it did conserve those, but we don't. So it did just downscale the existing ones? Okay, I mean, it's nifty, I guess. Or maybe it kept them cached. And then when we get into changing options, we can force a redraw. Okay, so these will still generate, and when we get down there. All right. This is not exactly how things are going to work in. Let's see. Key placement. Key placement sprite. So I was going to create it. Yeah, and there's the natural stuff. So this is going to be greater than or equal to initial options. All right, so now we need to change times. So we actually have some of this stuff. I probably need to find center again, too. But off wandering. Okay, we're down below there. Oh, okay, so that did force a refresh, it looks like. Hey, I love you, Ned. How's it going? All right, so those are kind of expected patterns, and then we go down here. I am developing a web map for 1 Hour 1 Life, and right now what I'm working on is natural object spawning, and that performs very, very badly if you zoom all the way out here. So I'm making it cut off at about the level where, for me, it can be sort of reasonably performant to scroll through and generate all this stuff. And what I'm going to have to do shortly here is go over here and add a UI option to configure that if you really did want to zoom out a bit more. Thank you. I'm glad you like watching me scroll around a map. All right, so I think I need to do this similar thing for the animated layer. Map logs sprite. I do want to get back and organize this code better sometimes. It's kind of just get stuff done so far. Show natural objects. Our initial guess is 26. Okay, because this time, which, I mean, I guess that's a pretty good test. Natural objects. No natural objects. It's a very barren desert. And a lot of rocks. UI shouldn't be that big a deal. Okay, well, we hope. However, I am getting very parched. So I'm going to take a short break, be back in a few minutes, refill my water. Yeah, be right back. Well, okay. No. Did you just drop? Did you just take that kid away somewhere?
Being wild right now. Let's see. Okay, so I think we'll give us a little bit more to work with. I guess now I should. I wish I did this earlier. Hi, Tashi. Thanks for stopping by. Do I make games all by myself? This.
Run pure TX up there. Can I cut this? Yep, I can go. And can I? Nope, I can't delete that. But yeah, that has to be pure. That has to be pure health. Right, and run that along there like that as well for reasons. Right. Okay. You know, we'll make this entire front just pure TX.
Come on. Danger, revive me.
Border out, come on.
Ne yapıyorsun?
Fold
Li-
Lisa.
Lisa.
Ne yapıyorsun kanka?
No,
Fold Lisa.
dude.
Danger. Danger. Fold Lisa.
All right, welcome back. All right, so actually, we can start from a couple places. So this should have fade tall objects. That's going to be initialized. So we're doing with you. So we're going to have a UI message. I guess I've been using select. And then we're going to do with you. Yeah, no, this was toggle. That was just the, just the property. Well, the compiler is going to have so many problems right now. You're going to take an int. It's going to be a zoom. It's going to have, yeah, I guess in the message that sort of works. I don't think I implemented that message yet on either end. But we need to have a view. To find that message, put that checkbox. It's going to be a slider, probably. And a log slider. Are there any non-log sliders? Alright, well, this was a time thing. Oh, this is the timeline itself, which is... Yeah, they're all time things. Alright. on change. Right, so this is a function that we're applying. And then we're going into this. This might just be select natural object zoom. Oh, except I do need the round because it deals with floats for its value. This is going to be... You were label right. This is probably label above. This might be too big of a label. The set parameters. Well, these are gonna be constant. So minimum value. Anything in, well, it can be invisible below that or above that, however you think of it. Max. I think my maximum is 31. So that would allow you to completely turn it off. And you might need to be... Is it just 2 float? Okay. Alright, no doubt I've forgotten some things. Okay, so we need full properties. Leaflet, right, has to be added to exposing. Oh, you should probably have a... That's already like full width. See, so where else do I do these sliders? I think log... Right. Yeah. Label above. Okay, that had an error. This is probably an ordering issue. Okay, you ended up with 2 parentheses out of that. All right, now, I think that is coming from this side. Yeah, unknown message. So if, okay, that is causing a redraw. And you can use that, turn it off. Oh. I guess these tiles were all cached. Oh no, because we're, no, this is player placements. Okay, well this is, okay, we've seriously bungled something in the meantime. And there's no errors anywhere. Well, okay, I guess once you get to here, then... Maybe I referenced a value I shouldn't have in changing that. Select natural object zoom. Natural object zoom. What does this have to do with map time? Did I like cut instead of copy? And you see, this is where I should have checkpointed before going to do this. Show natural, show natural, show natural. This says we've lost, like, synchronization to this. It's like we're getting messages and it's not updating. Course start time. Server list. Time selection around. I guess we just look at all messages. Why are we playing? That was weird. Oh. Oh, maybe that was delayed from the drag. Well, the fact that it takes that long to process is a little bit disconcerting. This is why I should have checkpointed first. Yeah, we're kind of at a bad time now. Get that there. What the heck? I haven't touched this UI in, like, days at least. Okay. Bisect time. So actually, master is probably a good point. Actually, is there any condition where we wouldn't send a message? I mean, only something internal to the control itself. Oh. Alright, so it doesn't like having a bunch of stuff change at once. What the heck? And this gets us into current time. What the heck? The thing is that we know master is working. Oh, maybe this thing, since this thing got confused. What? We're going to run into, like, data breakage at some point here. Yeah, you don't even know how to get your arcs. And that doesn't reset us at all. Or your servers. Well, we know it's working because the live map is working. Okay, so some stuff did change. How are you not generating events? What? We might be missing like some range data because we've gone back so far. But this doesn't appear to be a code change. Get checkout objects. How do you end bisect? Okay, there was a commit name in there, but it doesn't mean anything. Is it possible that I have two Elm processes like I have two server processes? Okay, that's the right number of VI windows. That's the right number of terminals, but I think I'm going to have to kill them all so I can spot anything that's weird going on. Like, do we still have a reactor? Yeah. Okay, so we've got two servers, so we might be just getting data from the wrong one. And none of those are foreground applications. Well, there's some bashes. Maybe you've got something in the background. End task, end task. Yeah, Windows decided to kill my shell at some point, and apparently I wasn't around to notice that. So I lost connection to every process that was running at the time. And apparently I left a couple of servers running. Yep, there's an Elm. When I see that happen, I just restart the entire computer. Because things are just borked. I'd rather not reset the stream, but now I have to go through and look for like Elm, look for Rails. There's a node doing something. Don't know why. There's a couple of Windows shells. Console window host. I don't think I had that many open. Maybe that's just a service. So the stuff. Oh, there's service stuff. It's hard to tell. Anyway, have we managed to kill you yet? Okay. That's one down, at least. How about this one? Well, you start up in like 5,000. And I might still have leftover arcs, even though I'm not really using it anymore. Yeah, okay. Server is already running. Oh. Well, there doesn't seem to be an actual server running, so... That's just a leftover file. Nope. Shoot. That would be a Ruby, I guess? Ruby interpreter. And this is why I try not to leave stuff running, but I guess I got lazy the other day. It's not answering any calls, but it was a Ruby interpreter. Well, actually, servers would be a good one. Okay. That's there. We saw that this, okay. OHL map config is not defined. So we may have left our Elm stuff in a really weird place. No. I may have versioned over a thing where I had that committed. Okay, relative, 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 relative. That's just a relative. Oh no, these are localhost. Okay. The control works again. Now to see if we can make changes and have it keep working. Maybe I should have stashed this. So sprite layer, it's not necessarily going to be all sprite layers. In practice, they might tend to have that option, but they're going to implement it differently. So that actually is part of sprite layer. Object layer sprite. Object overlayer sprite, key placement sprite, and map log sprite. So object overlay sprite was just, we can't do anything. Where are we? We are in ArcTimes. These are still ArcTimes. That's still screenshot layer, which makes it a little bit different. 25, 26. And then leaflet is conservative of that once it has it. All right, key placement sprite just skips natural object generation. And maplog sprite does the same. All right, so we'd expect to see stuff in the jungles. We were at 25, 26. That actually does a full redraw because we're doing that layer. Oh, that means we don't get the rift at this. Maybe I want to do something to like generate special objects. I'm going to need my line back if we're in that state. Oh, and we refactored this. This was like... let me do options. I don't have anything to exercise that just yet. So I guess I can't even really say it works. All right, so this is... It's got a time slider. Yeah, they're kind of all time sliders. Well, time after. Oh, but you were a log slider, so it's going to be different. Yeah, arcs are pretty special too. Oh, frame rates. Don't have up right now. Well, they're logs again. I did a bunch of other stuff last time. First, I guess we need a function to call here. Int zoom I think I was done with you. Oop, what I did miss here was message. Well, actually, fade tall objects is a thing we can do. I could have done that refactoring as a step. Okay. I think we got leaflet, map UI, model. Int. Default by 26. Alright, and we have to define all of that in our view. Alright, now slider. Select. You want to be more like that. Oh, except it's multiple lines. What we are going to try. Might be too much. And min was 24, and max was 32 is above our max zoom. value is model I've changed several files here and this didn't update. It's a little disconcerting. Yeah. Oh, wrong folder. Okay, leaflet, which actually makes me wonder. Okay, you're in the right place. That was not an int. And I'd swear, I think the old 18 would actually tell you, hey, I think it might be this field. No, it's just here's a blob, figure it out. Let's select. So that all matches. Do we get the wrong model.show natural just above zoom? Oh. I mean, this shouldn't have really caused any problems. All right, float, 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 maybe float, value. I do remember doing that last time. Direct call. Okay, we're at 28. And there's all the manual placements. I did want to see how this behaved in earlier times, which we were in trouble before. Okay. We should probably indicate that's the field. Too fast. And in practice, that gets us out to here, which is still sort of tolerable. Wait, did I not get back to where I thought I got back to? I didn't get a new... Somehow, the off-biome objects didn't get committed. Got lost in all the bisect shenanigans. Well, that's a way to ruin your day. Yeah, it's not even hide. Okay. That means I have to go find my date again. Remember approximately when it was, but there was a timestamp there. Again? We haven't done anything. It was 2019, 3/29. Oh, that was when it got released. Approximately. I mean, it's either that or moving objects. That's what it actually is. All right, 3/29. Actually, it was 21 when we add 5 to it. All right, start of Jungle Age. So actually, it's really between... It splits. And that was before... Screenshot is 4/27. All right. And then to you, and then to screenshot age. And then you have, what do we call it? So you. This is object generation options. Current answer is false. Oh, I guess I could and it was relatively brief. But we had the small object fix. Modifying moving objects. This has to be here. Now I have to go find an example again. Okay, well, there's a penguin. Okay, so that probably means it's good. We're starting to run out of time again. Because there's also the oil spot thing, but I don't have a thing that will show me an actual map to really test it on. Re-implement missing off biome moving object fix or option. So small objects. Man, it was a okay. Yeah, it was something about this like amazing bug that he just found. Huge bug, temperature-based weighting, Eve respawn. Yeah, I feel like we've missed it. Maybe it's short and tall? This was like when it was very, very first implemented. Our versions might kind of go back pre-release, but I don't think that far back. News page. He overhaul. Ridiculous bug. How did I miss that in bug? All right, so that went live with 221. It got reverted shortly afterwards. Was that an actual revert? Seems to be no. Or it wasn't. How about revert? No. Oh. Now we need short. Actually, no, now we know it was ridiculous. All right, so 221. This, I don't know if this is going to be worth doing another break. We do have these options though. So this is 221 was released. 219.504. So it actually would have been in the middle of So that's actually going to kind of break screenshot age. Interesting. All right, 05, 04. I probably need, like, I don't know, maybe like a separate thing that's like code changes. Uh, 12 plus 5, if it's probably 5, is 17. And then that ends. Oh, yep. 2 dents, fix old map spacing. That, you know what? Sometimes he will update server changes without doing a client. So the fix, this was 502 to 504. I mean, that's pretty close. This is 511 to 516. I guess that's still within the bounds of a week. Oh, he was fixing a crash. But it was only like a day later, so probably here. Minus whatever changes may have still been on the map. So this is going to be more of an end, but... Which is why arrays of this might be a little bit more convenient. So that was 504 to 516. Oh, so it's going to be 17. 21. So we would go 3 hours to roll over and then 2 more. Okay. So we're going to have like kind of 2 of these, and then a thing in the middle. So start of that to... that's to this, to second, so this little thing here, small objects. If I recall how that works. Oop. Start of second screenshot age. I'm getting an exact symbol match. Did it not parse because I typoed something? Oh, wait. One of these is capitalized and it's still matching for some reason. That one is not. So this was like somewhere in here, yeah. But where did screenshot start? Oh, I must be outside the screenshot range. Or I broke screenshot entirely? What? Okay, there's second. Or did I get my numbers mixed up again? Okay, screenshot age was 427. 504, 517, and then July 27. Okay, so jungle age. Biome layer. Oh, maybe I could actually do you on top of screenshots, because it'd just be more objects generally. I mean, we still have, it starts and it stops. No, okay, so yeah, it's 4, and then it's here, and then we have the many objects. I mean, it would look a little odd. And then a great abundance of all the things. Small object age. Maybe I should have like individual like code change things. You kind of check the range on when it applies. Because really, it's kind of like it was biome changes, which are really kind of reflecting data, and then we have like all these little code changes that sort of overlap that. Well, I want to take some kind of shot at repeating objects. I may have to put off integrating the data to get that, but I do need to take a short break. I'll be back in a little bit. Oh, these look like they were freshly plucked. Oh, okay, so I could be the...
So here and now, let me just say this. If you say you'll watch my stream but don't, I'm going to say I'll give you a ride to the doctor and then I won't show up. And that's fucking fair.
Hey, thank you, Epic Elibet. How you doing? Thank you very much for that amazing host. Absolutely amazing. How you doing? How was your stream? How was your stream? Hey, Cybertech, how you doing?
Ford, too big.
This will take a little bit, but it's important. The base won't function without it. I really do need.
Brewer and Lost Discord.
Yeah, I looked there and I only saw 2 channels, but nobody was in them.
Can't see. Don't have the vision.
I don't have the permissions. Alright, let's see what junk we're gonna get out of these.
What, now you're giving me peanut butter and bread? Thanks. Thanks, Mom. Okay. My mom brought me, like, so much food.
Alright, well, welcome back. Now, I've not looked at this. I don't know if it's going to be possible to generate or not. Preparing for... So I don't actually have the tag here. Oh yeah, I'm actually not completely up to date. Oh no, because the other stuff was a content change. This is the code support. Ooh. That's not his standard seeded random number generator, is it? Get random bounded int, get random bounded int. Well, not placed. Yeah, if you got a really weird thing with no Arctic, would that be an infinite loop? Also, I need to know what function this is in. This is in a init. So this is functioning similar to the tar monument. It's not necessarily a generation thing. Oh, well, it's using the same seed as phase random source, which I didn't have to deal with before. Because I don't think he ever actually published the phase random thing. Which means I may also have not needed to do a custom random source yet. So this might be a bigger project than I thought. Yeah, I had the window open when Windows decided to kill me. Minor gems. Okay, so the seed is here. So on server startup, well, okay, if the server restarts, it's always going to go through the same sequence. And oh, is this actually reseeded inside of a init map? Because if it creates a new source every time it inits the map, then it's always going to generate the same placements. So if you know absolute coordinates, there's going to be patterns in how it places those. Unless something is messing with RandSeed, which it's not. That's almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite. But in order to implement that, I have to go into minor gems. I think we have the path to this. Util random. Oh, that's the H file. Oh yeah, you can do a bunch of state things. Oh, you are only header file. Okay. So I'm probably only going to need a couple of these methods. Oh, shared functionality. Because I only need like init and pick. Well, bounded int I think is actually what it is. Alright, so how much do we actually need? Placement, random source. We need to be able to initialize it and call random bounded int. Initialize it with a seed, rather. Which is mstate, and then the save state. Oh, the state is the seed. Maybe. Unless it's a rand32 thing. No, but just an int. Oh, and it's a single save state. Okay, so random32. Get random bounded int has only one implementation. Inverse max +1. Range start, range end. And this is probably defined in custom source. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, that's not terrible, actually. But I also don't have a test set to compare against right now to check if we did this right. So maybe he pulled that stuff out of somewhere. Now, did we ever do anything? No. We've got the XX stuff. With all our hashing. Tweaked hash 2D. Which is doing some kind of similar things. Okay. So we only need a couple of functions here. It does have to preserve its state. Okay, fractals. Actually, some of these arrays might be... we have versions. Biomes might actually be gone now. Okay, not completely gone, but... All right, no complaints about that. What about objects? No, yeah, objects is more of a global thing. So I guess this is still like the base random stuff. How to reference this? Yeah. Blob, master, common source. This is one left. This is minor gems. Blob, master. Util. random. And rand source, util random rand source 32. Util random rand source 32. Oop, except you were H. And there's not a whole lot to cite there. So Gen 32 assumes a state. Which, I mean, really is a state, I guess. And then custom random source. Yeah, because get bounded is going to call it twice. And we still need a state out of that. This dot state equals custom 2 and this is where we need some of these tricks. Of the original state I kind of want to do this. Oh, I guess this was kind of a stepped version. Oh, yeah, that was a sequence of changes. This is all based on the original value. All right. State to the, to the custom 1. We've got some recursion going on here. 2 uses 1, 4 uses 3, 6 uses 5. Or that's not of state times I feel like I bumped something there. P9 du. Oh, unsigned. And that whole thing plus 1. We're doing the not. I mean, I could use this, the H32 style. Just sort of clarify what's going on here. And we're another plus 1. And oh yeah, these are all end up not with or XORed with each other again. I actually I'm not necessarily going to need to do this a lot. Yeah. Right. V09 B90. Is state of, and that matters. Aaron probably shouldn't be lazy about this. All right, yeah, cust2 of faster as a set of macros. Yeah, so if you're doing this a lot, that probably matters. Which is why it's all 3. So I presume that 3 is actually a lot like 1. And actually, this is all just different numbers, same operations. And 3... And then we got 5 and 6. For BF9 62C1. And the total of this is and then you are Generand 32 of this dot state. I mean, you could perhaps do some formatting on this one. So actually, it's more like this. Oh, and this is where we need not actual. Or we just need not straight up multiply. I need to see this for spacing. Well, that's an annoying thing to transform. So actually that's not so bad. All right, and then rand 32. Get random bounded int. Equals function. Okay, so initially it gets a floating point. Oh, yeah, floating point times the range. On initialize. Do we already have this? One over int max. Inv max plus 1. That might be slightly different. Yep, that's slightly different. All right, well, JavaScript is always floating point, so that data conversion doesn't matter. Well, that worked. All right, so we have okay. Oh, I guess we're not really doing split view anymore. Equals. Interesting way to put it. Maybe it was to be really clear about how the plus was happening in the subtraction. Alright, any obvious typos? No obvious typos. Well, of course, we haven't run the code yet. And then in map, we have placement random source, which is a rand seed. This is an object generation option only so far. Oh, there's the grid seed and... That's probably a number. No. Huh. I thought I pulled that as something. Must be an old version of code. This is all, oh yeah, that went with grid placement, rand placement. Oh. Rand placement lock. Okay, so that's in the scan. So actually picking objects here is... So in the code, it's called rand seed. So for testing purposes, I don't actually have there's a version change yet. Or I was working on it, but I think that might be a whole separate thing to get that data sorted out. Nose Joe would be another one. So 2285 if we're gonna hack it in. So this would go in special placements. Special map placements. But that is, it has a start time with an undefined end time. So we might have to do something like that. And you would go live. I guess I never updated this since it like went official fully. Or I have a version of it checked out, maybe? No, I don't have it fetched. Okay, so it's just data version number. Uh, 2019, 10, 12, 16, we said it was 21. Oh, but this was, I actually worked out the -5 version. It's not a set location, it was 2285. And we'll have to get better data for this at some point. So where we do special map, so this is where we do that's so these got handled slightly different here. Oh. Well, this only exists where these are things. So it's sort of okay that it's not in the object layer right now. And we only account for start. But we still have to figure out where do we run. Okay, so we're filtering that down. This is on a per tile basis, isn't it? Yeah. So the object selection, or the placement selection, should really run once per world. And that's going to end up, depending on the world time, And on the Rift, which we're not currently processing. Yeah, Rift sizes is a factor. Speaking of object ends, we still have that. So this is whip, because it looks like there's still quite a few things to sort out here. We need to know the rift size to place these. I mean, it could be fudged again. For proof of concept. Barrier radius -2. I mean, so it should properly be date checked. So this is random map placements. Special map placements. Of course, then we have to like kind of get it into this. This is able to go off exact map time. Oh, actually, yeah, this is data time. Data time. So that would be sort of there. It's a layer thing. Rather than which is actually the end. And this is probably something where we could like pre-process the special end here. Dot map. Because actually it's going to be for each of these we might add some stuff to there. That didn't need to be inside the loop. We need to figure that out. I also want here's where for every world we reset this. World.generation.renseed. Are you fully formed parameters or just age generation? You are not fully formed parameters. All right, from negative. Pick Y. Now, get map biome. Is that a function I even had? No. But it's just doing that. Oh. So I actually do need a full set of parameters here. So right now, so we need that seed value. It's an object generation. We currently have no reason to overwrite. But otherwise, we're only generating biomes. So actually, this doesn't even need to be in the map. Placement random source. Biome. Is that a free function? Okay, so that's effective options dot for XY options. Oh, the allowed biomes for object. We still have to do, so this is used, picked biome, I think it's this. Now, biome map is an options thing. Oh. So we also need the biomes for this object, which is only contained in the world-specific, or the version-specific biome stuff. Options.biomes? Or would that end up being generation.biomes? Undefined, undefined. Oh, custom 2 is not defined. Custom. Okay, so there are some things, some worlds with undefined biomes, and it seems to be pretty commonly ones without, before we get to 7. Oh, I think I may have been custom copying some properties there. So map generation manages to work with it. World generation.biomes equals biomes if version. What do we have that doesn't have that? Well, we can't do it without it. But then we have to see if this object exists. which we don't really have it properly tagged right now. So you kind of do want to go through the objects. What do I need from you? I need your biome list. Which we cut you down to 4. So it's not going to say this. It's if we do that. ID. Wait, while not placed. And we have to loop through the, when this should be a biome loop. I mean, I guess I could have this be placed in less than count, which, I mean, we could do 2 place. And then, where are my brackets? This isn't really a map. Okay, this seems to suggest it's not working very well. $201. We have placed 0. I'd say that the get bounded int is not performing very well. Okay, float. I feel like rand float should not be signed. Oh, you know what? This was a lot of unsigned math. I'm trying to remember. Maybe that's what this is about? It's less than 0. And downshift 0 probably converts it to integer? This is a float, though. But genrand32 is supposed to be producing an int. Oh, well, okay. That's part of your problem. We're still producing negatives, though. And our... Oh, this was probably supposed to be like times or plus magnitude. But negatives aren't going to be good there. Maybe? Okay, that is not a signed fix-up. It might be like a rounding operation? So I know that was dealing with unsigned ints. Virtual unsigned int. So yeah, you're supposed to be returning... Unsigned values. What did I do with that? Okay, so I had hex for printing stuff out. I guess the way the other thing used it didn't end up mattering much. Or maybe this was the unsigned conversion. Because downshift 0, like, really shouldn't do a whole lot. Okay, so that seems a bit more reasonable. So we get... Oh, so actually we don't even need to assign that. And we're limiting our iterations here. Ooh. That affects my stream preview. And that tanked. So that is telling me... Did you have a print? You had your intermediate values. So we're getting biome numbers. Oh, that's an national array of 5. And for similar worlds, we would expect similar numbers. Go back far enough. Of course, I had 7 biomes here, so I might want to do some sort of seed recognition. Now, what I am kind of curious about is how many iterations did it take us to get there? Right, because for whatever reason, this is only occurring over things with the same seed, which doesn't seem quite right. Worlds have names. That's an awful lot of 267s. Oh, it's probably arcs, and I haven't done anything to update the names. If arc biome layer name. Does arc have a name? But this is in a position to get overwritten by everything else. Seems to be a no. Okay, yeah. Am I overwriting the... I probably am. Oh, and look at me using world.name. arc.seed.toString. What exactly is changing on these? It feels like we're using the same object and everybody's getting the same name. Oh. Hey, how about we, okay, fine. And this actually won't even process the last one because it was a loop for a different purpose. Continue must be inside a loop. Oh, right. Now it's a return. Okay, those are actually different seeds. And we weren't able to place. Why did we stop at 101? Oh, because it probably needs to be up a loop. For each place. Oh, but the crazy is out of scope. For first crazy, we need to do that. But none of the others have biomes? Okay, world has biomes. Or is the world just plain options? Biomes. Oh. Because I actually did time bound it. Okay. So that's not right, because that world isn't actually there, but it's probably like a time issue. Special map placements is a global right now. Actually, this needs to go down. To object data to get drawn. But at this point, we've already made all our layers. Hmm. So they've already captured the options. All right, well, maybe I'm not going to see these on the map today. Because this has to move up. All right, so what were we printing out? Okay, nothing there. That's the set we remember. Oh man, you barely got in before the end too. Now, is this crazy? No, this crazy is not in scope here. Right, so we put it in scope. I mean, I guess the way to do this, and we did have a date check. would be to actually put this on to special map placements, which is currently global. Right, because I was printing that out. But I would kind of like to see that. So I know where to look. So this is going to be like the final moment. Okay, so nothing's particularly near center. Negative 350. $13. 40, 80. Now that could have been overwritten because this is an old arc by player activity. But it would only be like active at kind of the very last moment. It is an Arctic though. It's gonna be somewhere over here. Oh. Okay, so I'm still having some of my edge issues here. I thought I hadn't seen that for a bit, but that is still, well, at least that sort of confirms it. So that is extremely whip. That's data. That is itself a hack. And then, of course, we have to wait till we get some historical data to see if we, like, see oil wells appear there and such. I've got a lot of seeds to sort out. All right, that is all we can do for today. Or rather, I'm way over to eat lunch. That's all I'm going to do today. I might poke at getting the object data in the off times, because it's a lot of sitting and waiting for the generation to run. But I need versioned names to get the change in oil well placement. And if you include any name change, you like get a bunch of stuff that's not relevant to map generation. So that's going to be a project to work on. Thanks for watching. Hit, not that window. Hit. Browser, are you going to do a new window? Thank you. Thanks to everybody who hosted me. Thanks to subscribers for supporting me, and this is about when I'm usually on, so usually I try to finish up before now. Let's see, anything... Well, there's somebody actually developing a mostly multiplayer online game. Look for someplace cool to hang out. Thanks Games is working on their game. But yeah, that's a place cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.